So we'll move ahead today with this topic of lesson 4, which is computing new columns. Now in last topic or last class, the topic which we had covered was how one can create new data file or new SAS table or new SAS data set. So these are all abbreviations or synonyms for SAS tables, okay? So which I said like data files, data sets, or SAS table, correct? So we had seen how one can create a new SAS dataset or one can also manipulate existing SAS dataset. So we got introduced to a data step where we got introduced to a set statement within data step, which acts as a indication to SAS that we are actually connecting to input data source, which is an existing SAS dataset, right? So once a data file is created by reading from an input data source, we can always filter some rows, some columns, format those columns, correct? So by default, a data step reads all the rows and columns from your input source of data, correct? So that we had seen it reads all rows and all columns. Hence, we can also specify that it creates a mirror image or a sister copy of your existing table, correct? Just a second, I've just started with my SAS studio, so it's giving me instructions about tables or previous work which I have done with the see. Alright, so I'm connecting to my data files by submitting nickname statement, which I think it's ideally everyone is doing. It's a regular thing which we have to do, correct? So let's come to this topic. So now this is one of the topic which is computing new columns, which occurs or which has to be done only via creating a new table or within your data step. So with existing columns which are there, we know by default the existing columns are read from input data. But in case if any new column is to be added to your new table, which is as per your business requirement, we use this computing new column concept. Okay. So as you all are aware that when we are working with your data, so for example, if we work with this data set, which you people are quite familiar now from our existing one of your permanent SAS library from SAS Help, we know we mostly use this cars data, and we are quite familiar with this table where it consists the columns of make, model, type. So it's all about the columns which are describing the various cars, their origins, their drivetrain, MSRP column, invoice, engine size. So it's describing the cars, nearly 15 columns and 428 rows, right? So for our business requirement, suppose we want to know that if this is a MSRP and if this is invoice value of that car, what is the difference amount of it? Okay, so in that case, if I have this requirement, so I can always create this new data, which is, suppose I give the name for it as difference of cars price. All right, this is the name. Set, I give the input source, which is SAS help dot cars, which is I'm reading from permanent SAS file, and I give the column to be created a name called as, suppose I write difference in price, which is equal to, I write MSRP, which is my existing column from my input source, minus my invoice and I select the columns, suppose only make. Instead of make, I want model, I want type of car, I want the origin from where the car has been manufactured, I want my original column MSRP and I want my invoice. Okay, and I want my new column which I'm creating, which is difference underscore price, and I end my step. Now look at here, I execute this step.
Invoice spelling mistake was there.
Okay, so I get this warning.
Invoice mistake.
One sec. What do you
Ashwini,
mean?
are you teaching?
Yes.
We can't hear. I can't hear you.
If others can hear me,
Yes.
Sorry. Now I can hear you. I thought we are waiting for someone and I was not listening. Sorry.
no problem. MSRP. So in my if statement, I have this spell check for MSRP. Going back into my column. Fine. So see, it's telling me 6 columns, sorry, 428 rows. Let's look your log. So this was a data step which I have executed. So it's telling 428 rows have been read from cards. A new data file which is in your work library default saved, because here we did not give any reference of library for this table. So it's creating this table in work library, difference of cars price with 428 rows. So it's copying all the rows as it is, because we did not give any instructions here to filter rows. And now it's telling 6 variables. Now how 6 variables? Now we know this type, origin, and MSRP voice is coming from input data. So these are four, sorry, model also. So these are 5 columns which are taken from input table, and this is the new column which we have created by writing this assignment statement. So this is called as assignment statement, where you create a new column by writing its name to the left hand side of your equal to sign, and you give the expression of how is that new column to be created. So either you create a new column, or you can also manipulate the existing column by writing the name of that existing column and give its manipulation expressions here. So this is called as assignment statement, where in this assignment you are asking to create a new column, or you also call it as computed column. All right. So how is that column? If you see this column in your output table, this is the difference it's coming. Now we know this is the format default which is applied on your original table column, correct? How come? So if you check this contents at the left hand side for invoice, if you check here, see it's telling it's already existing a permanent format $8 dot. Hence this values are appearing with this default format which is applied on it. Originally, this is saved as numbers, but this is the way it represents whenever you open your data. Hence, this is the permanent format applied. So if you want format, that what is the difference between the actual invoice price and the MSRP price? You can also apply format on this column. You know how to do it. So it's the same thing. We write format on your new column, which is difference price, and you apply a format of dollar, same format if you want, with the weight of 8 dot. Let's execute. So this is the data set. So hence it opens in output table or output data tab. And if you observe this column of your difference, you'll find the values are not now appearing with the format. Okay, so this is what you see, that you have created a new column or a computed column by using an assignment statement in your data set. All right, so this is what we are learning with this computing new column step. Fine. So using expressions to create new columns, you actually use an assignment statement. See, it's telling it's an assignment statement where the syntax is new column name which is written to the left hand side of your equal to sign, which is equal to your expression. So this expression could be arithmetic or a constant. So why it's telling constant, that in case if you are creating a new column where you want to just give a value for it, that is also possible. Okay. So what does this mean is, so in this case, now we know we have these columns where we had type, MSRP, difference, correct, and users. So if in case if you want to give the information that you are going to create a new column, for example, you tell it's that type of your car, or write status, maybe status of your car, which is equal to, I give it's a it's going to be my character column, so I'll give the value into quotes and I say that it is a new car, maybe. Okay, so this is what it's telling. So this is also the way of expression where you are using an assignment statement to create a new column with a constant value. So this value is going to be character, hence I put it into quotes. So now when I execute this again in the output table, I'll get a new column which is called as status, where it will have this constant value throughout all 428 rows. So yes, now see what it's telling. Do you see this new column here, which is called status in your output? So it's still telling it's 6 rows or 6 columns, sorry. If you check your log, it's not giving any information, but it's telling 6 variables. Why? Any idea? Any logic to understand this? Why it's not showing you this new column?
In the keep statement, you didn't add this.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. So though this new column has been created, it has been created during your compilation phase of your data step itself, but it is not added to your output data because it's indirectly dropped because I have not selected it to be seen into my new data set. So I have to select it in my keep statement. So I write this that I want it to be seen. So fine.
So can we write the keep statement before the assignment statement?
Keep statement position is not mandatory. You can write it after set statement anywhere because this statement is actually a compile time statement.
Okay, because after giving that statement, again, we have given one more assignment statement.
Right, right. So this is actually mandatory, or it's actually a very good question, and it's actually been ideally used to write it at the bottom of your data step. But most of the time, when this data step is processing during compilation phase, you know, in compilation phase, it checks for all your requirements to be jotted down to create your new table. So that is compilation. That's why the word is compilation, right? So in the area of your memory, it creates a space, or it is creating a area for your new table. So that is a temporary where it's creating pdv. So it's called as program data vector. So it is like the columns which is jotting down to be created for your new tables, and in that it will check this rows or this columns to be selected, or by default it reads the columns from input table, and it reads your assignment statements and it adds those columns in that pdb. And then when it reads this keep, then it will flag d for those, or flag the connection, or it will just give a sign on the PDF that this column should not be written to your output data. So how that works, I'll explain you. So keep statement or drop statement position is not mandatory because it is read at the time of end of your data step that which columns has to be selected for your output table during compilation. All right, just keep that in mind. So this is where you get a column called status with a constant value for all the rows which is new. See, got it? All right. So the assignment statement can create or update a column. So either a new column or an existing column can also be updated. So this is how it is. See, it's talking about profit and it's talking about source. So see, it's creating one column which is numeric by using this numeric difference, or from this numeric columns where it's performing the arithmetic operation, whereas here it's creating source as a new column which is non-US cars. Now why non-US cars? It's because they have used this where statement to subset your data to select only those rows for the column origin which is not equal to USA. Therefore, the source is non-US cars. So this is what you see, the new columns, profit and source. So in our studio also, we see this new columns has been created. So difference in price and status. So if you check here also, so a new column status, see this icon indicates its character where it's showing A, whereas this numeric sign 1, 2, 3, it's indicates its numeric column, correct? So this is how the instructions are to create new column through assignment statement. They're applying format, they're using kit. Yes, as per Nilima's question, it is always advisable to use your key for drop statement. I'm using the word statement in your data step at the end of your data step. Else you can write it anyway, but it is required to use it at the bottom of your data step. So the column name is stored in case that you are that you use to create. So this column name case, whatever your instructions you give it, if it's character, if it is upcase, it will save the values in that way itself. Okay, and hence you have the same demo. But before working with that demo, come to this activity. So it's telling open this activity for lesson 4A04 from your activities folder and do this instructions as per they have guided. Add an assignment statement to create storm length that represents the number of days between start and end date. Run the program. In 1980, how long did the storm named Agatha last? Yes, open this and go ahead and do this. Activities lesson 4A04. Yes. So they have asked you to create a new column. Assignment statement to create storm length. So what is the new column name? Which is equal to a difference between start date let's check. At this new column, storm length. So this is the difference. How do you understand whether which is the highest? So it's why I'm getting the values in negative. Any idea? Tell me.
It should be end date minus start date, right?
Absolutely correct. So you have to be wise enough to understand that your end date is always going to be the greater value than your start dates. Now you'll see the difference of number of days between the two dates, and according the question which they have asked, which of the storm has occurred last? It's telling in 1980. How long did the storm named Agatha last? So yes, looking into your data, let's check for the year 1980. So this is season in 1980. You have Agatha. So this is its row, which is this one. How long it lasts? Yes. How long the duration was for this storm named Agatha last? Yes, how will interpret this now?
6 days, right?
Yes?
6 days.
Yes, absolutely correct. I hope rest of the people you are able to follow.
Yes, Ashwini.
Shanmuga,
Yes.
yes, Nilima, Priyanka, yes, Shanmuga, Priyanka, are you all there?
Yes, Ashwini, I said yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Priyanka,
Yes, I got it.
good. Good to hear. All right. So it's 6 days. Okay, so now let's understand how one can also extract the information from your columns to create a new variable. Okay, so in this area, in this one of our demo which we had done earlier, now we had this new column called new, correct? Now I don't want this n to be capital. I want this in small case, or I want all this to be in upcase. Okay, so how I give instruction that the value should be in upcase. So it's an existing column, suppose. Okay, it's a new session. I don't want anything to be done in this. So what I do is on my new table or new data step, I write the same. I'm just giving this for your understanding. Okay, I'm going to do the difference for this new data. Which said with the same input source, I use this name. Okay, for existing table, I simply write everything is the same, only the existing column is status, where I want this values to be all the new value as new to be in upcase. Okay, so I use a function called upcase. So it's a function which performs that action on your column. So what is my column? Is an existing column called status. I'm not doing anything. I'm just updating existing table on existing column. And I use a function called upcase. So this upcase is a function which works on this argument. So it's a result of upcase on this column. Okay, hence it's a function which is occurring on that particular column. So it's a function on your character type of variable values to be in upcase. So now when I see it's an existing table only which is getting man updated to see my existing column called update. So when I check my log, it's telling the same thing that it is reading from this table. It is creating the same table, but now this new table will be updated with this new instructions called as updates to be done on existing column. So what is a function? A function is a routine that returns a value. So that's what we had seen. It's actually a instruction on your column which returns the value as per this arguments. So this is where we give the syntax. So it's the name of your function written on your argument. So either one argument or more than two arguments. So for example, in this case, if you want, this was the difference which was done. Now I want to have the total price. So I can write a new column to be created, total price, which is equal to, I want to perform sum of my two columns. Now, of course, it's going to be a numeric column, which is going to be your MSRP, comma. All right. So this is a function of sum, which will perform sum on these two columns. Okay. So this can also be written as total equal to, or I just gave it the name as total, this as total 1, this as total 2, which I can write this as sum MSRP plus. Alright, so now check this. Total 1, total 2 value is the same. So here I use the function sum where I was writing the arguments separated by comma, and here I use the plus sign. Result is the same. Now it's having total 9 columns. So result is the same. But it's better to use sum function. Why? Because in case in your table, if you have any missing values in this columns, with this sum, it will result with missing itself. Okay, when if you write missing plus any value, it will result in missing. Why? Because SAS never works on missing values. So to ignore this missing value, we can use this sum function. So that on summation, it will give you this result. So does in your original table you have any missing values for MSRP and invoice? No, but it happens like this most of the time. So in case here in this data, summary storm, I think somewhere we had missing values, right? I'll just show you that also. In your libraries of your PG1, let's check storm summary data. Yes, so see now you have missing value for max wind mile per hour. All right, you have missing values in pressure. So in case you are performing any sum value on this, okay. So in case I just give you an example, I'm creating this. I write something and I write what is this max wind mile per hour, right? The column is max wind mile per hour and low pressure. Is it the same? Pressure. Let's check. So we have this new column current coming storm 1. So we have missing values here. Why? It's because you have used the assignment statement that max wind mile per hour plus minimum pressure. So it's 35 plus missing. So 35 plus missing in SAS, it's resulting as missing. Are you getting it? Why? Because as we know, for SAS, any missing value means it's missing. So missing plus any value, it will result missing. But ideally, we know that it should give the value as 35, correct? Here also, same thing. It should give 998, correct? Here also, it should give 115 plus missing, it should result as 115. I hope you people are following with me.
Yes, Ashwini, understood.
Correct. So to avoid this, we use an expression with the function called as sum. So what I do is to make you more understanding. Now I make use of a function called as sum. So how is the instructions? I write my function. In the parenthesis, I give the arguments, that is the column names on that function is to be worked out separated by comma. And I put this parenthesis. So when I execute this, This is where I get without. See, now why I here I'm getting missing? Maybe both are missing. See, both are missing. Both are missing. So result is missing. See here, originally we had missing 35 plus missing. Now because of sum, it ignored missing value and it returned the value. So sum will perform the sum and it will ignore missing value. So this is for your numeric variable, okay? And this we saw one of our example earlier with your program where I used a function called as upcase on my character variable. So this is working on character variable, this is on your numeric variable. So this will ignore any missing values in your data and it will perform the sum on this expressions of your arguments called MSRP and invoice. So this is how the syntax works for your functions. So again, in your assignment statement, either you can create a new column or an existing column. You give this instructions with functions to create a column or update an existing column. Function and its arguments. So functions can be used in an assignment statement to create or update a column. So these are some of the numeric functions. So we got introduced to sum, which creates or it performs the summation. Mean means it will calculate the mean. So it's a statistical term mean. Ideally, mathematically, we can call it as average. But we mostly, it's a statistical system called SAS. We term it as mean. So mean, it will calculate the average between the numeric columns. Median, range, minimum values, max values, number of non-missing values. Okay, n means number of values, total rows, or what is the number of counts of the values here, and n means number of missing values. So here it will give number of non-missing values, and here how many values are missing, that is n miss from your arguments. So this functions ignores missing values in your data. So all these functions are used and it will perform its function activity on your arguments and it will ignore missing values. All right, so this is how it's spelled. So if you want to know the average mileage of your cars, so you write mean LPG mean is equal to calculate average, which is a mean function on your mileage of cars in city and the mileage on highway. You get this? The mean function calculates an average for each row. So for every row, it will calculate the average and give you the value. Okay, so now open this activity A05 for lesson 4.
Ashwini,
Yes.
so for the storm length, can we do that, the function, or there is nothing for subtraction?
And good question. So let me show you. So do we have any missing values in subtraction in this? Did you had for start and end date? Do we have any missing values?
No, I was asking like we did the sum, right?
Right. So
Similarly,
see, if you want, if you want, in case if you had any missing values, so let me come here only. Okay, so if you want to see the difference, maybe so I'll write def of storm, which is equal to. Normally, you write it as same thing. But here you write. Okay. Ideally. This was your simple expression that you are performing a difference. So if you check here, again with difference you get negative sign, and here of course missing minus any value results missing. Correct? But if you want to ignore this, how you can do is here. Same thing. Now when you write this function sum, it will not perform any summation. Okay, make a note. But I write these expressions like two arguments separated by this. I give it should be performing difference and close this. So it is not that here it will perform sum. Of course, with this argument, it will perform subtraction, but with some it will ignore missing value. Okay, so this is how it will work now. So it ignored missing value and it gave the values. Now here we have both the values are missing, hence it's resulting missing. But here it's just performing difference and it's giving the value as 35, where it's ignoring your missing value. Understood? See? Got it?
Okay, so we have to give the comma also and then the minus sign.
Yes, because the function syntax itself is argument separated by comma. And in case if you want to perform the difference, you can give the argument separated by comma and you write this minus sign. So it will perform the subtraction and it will ignore missing value because of some function.
Okay, so for a storm length that we did, it will be like sum in the parentheses, there will be ended, comma, minus started.
Yes, so here also in case if you want to ignore missing values, you can give the same thing. Absolutely. Now, of course, in this data, we don't have any missing values. So that's why I did not show you in that way. But yes, in this activity, you can use a sum function. Same thing, right?
Yeah. So we have to see first the data and then decide which function we have to use, like how we have to do the coding.
It depends. Like, see, once you start working and you get acquainted with various functions, you ideally come to know that which function, if they are asking to be used, of course, but which column has to be written first in case, in that case of difference, you'll come to know only when you look into your data. Now, by looking into your data with the start and end date, it's logically understood that end date should be always greater than your start date, right? So accordingly, you can give the positions.
I was asking like we did the there were missing values, so we did this sum.
Yes, that's there. That's correct. Yes. So in case if you look into log and if you do not know about missing values are creating, see in note, in log, it's telling you missing values are generated as a result of performing a missing operation. So why this information is coming? Ideally, SAS never works on missing values, but here originally in your data set itself, the columns consist missing value. Hence, missing plus any values may result into missing. That is why in some area you may get missing, and hence it's telling missing values are generated. So if you get this message, that means it is an indication for us to look into your data that yes, you may have some missing values in your column. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Others, I hope it's making sense.
Without generating any code or any statements, how to get to know whether we have missing values, seeing the raw data?
See, if you want to know about the missing value, if you remember, we had got introduced to a procedure called topic data equal to the data set name, suppose from summary. You write, I mean, it has too many columns, right? Okay, let's work on this. Now you know proc freq is a frequency procedure which counts the frequencies of your columns for all the columns, irrespective whether it's character or numeric, correct? So it will give you a frequency result for all your columns. So originally your table has how many columns in storm summary? Can you just check and tell me? So see for season.
Columns are 12.
Okay, so for all 12 columns, it will give you frequency count. So this is a season column. For season, this is the date, which is the year. It's telling its frequency appearing is 81 times and so on. So the next column for names, so it names are unique. So its frequency is 1. So in case if it's repeating, see it's telling it repeated so many times, that is 6 times its frequency, its count. So like this, if you go ahead and check, I'm just giving you this in this type. So in case if you come for your column, what is this column? So it's a huge table, right? How many rows this table has?
3118.
So it's a huge table. That's why I'm getting this. I just wanted to show that in case if you're having any column missing values, how it comes. Okay, but we know we have missing
That is
values in that
latitude.
particular-
Minus values is latitude
Fine,
column.
fine. So now we know that we have some table or columns. So you know if you want to select table for this, you select with this table statement, you specify max wind mile per hour column, comma, space, and you select your mean pressure. Understand this, okay? See, at the bottom, it's telling frequency missing values are 23. So in your data, for this column, we have 23 missing values. So this is for max wind mile per hour, and for minimum pressure also at the bottom, you will see you get this value called as 196 missing values. So in case if you do not want to see this in detail, we have certain options written with proc print called as N levels. Okay, so this N levels, what it does, it displays the number of variable values table, which provides the number of levels. What levels means? It's telling that the column which you are using for analysis, what are the various values within this. So in case if you have types of values in this, so in case it's missing and non-missing, so these are two types. So that is the levels of that column. So you get a separate part of your report at the top itself, that for these two columns there are 66 levels, or we get that among them we have one missing and non-missings are 65, whereas for minimum pressure the number of values are 117, okay, among which one is missing and 116 are non-missing. So this is the levels which is telling type of values of your data. So here we come to know that you have missing values with your data for this. Getting it? So this is one way where you can explore your data. So that's why first and foremost, when we saw the first step of your programming after accessing your data, you got introduced to exploring and validating your data. So this is where you can explore the data. All right. Understood?
Yes.
So make a note about this N levels. In case you do not want this table's output to be seen, have option no print. See, you can write no print option in this table statement with /. So it will suppress the result for your detailed frequency counts of these columns which you have selected for analysis, but you get the result only for levels.
So N levels will give whether you have missing values or not. That's it. Is it that way?
No, it's telling levels means levels in simple thing is it's like type of values. So in because these are numeric values, numeric either you have a value or you have no values, correct? So in this you are getting as values as you have missing values and non-missings are so much. So total values are this much. So for example, if any data where you have the values where you have upcase, small case, mixed case values. Now in the same table, if you see, you have the value for basin. where you have see non upcase values, you have small case values, correct?
Yeah.
So in this case, if I again select a column and frequency called as basic. Okay, so let's check. So now it does not have missing values, so it has 7 types of values. Okay, levels means types. All right. So what are those? So in case if you want to see those types of values, now what I can do is I simply comment this part. I'm simply checking the frequencies for basic column also. Of course, along with my, oh, because of no print, I won't see it. See, these are the types of values. Got it? So EP is one type, NA is another type, small case NA is another type. So total are 7 types of values. Are
Yeah.
you getting it now?
Yes. Yes.
What is levels?
Yeah.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So for numeric, we have always 2 types, like either you have a value or you don't have a value. So even in case if it was character where you do have blanks, so blank was also one of the type of value. So it would have given 8 types of levels.
Hmm.
Got it?
Yeah.
For numeric, either you have a value or you don't have a value. That is why when we worked on this maximum wind per hour and minimum pressure, it was giving us levels for 2 types, missing and not missing. So missing, they
Oh.
were having one value. Got it?
Yes. Yes. Understood.
Others, I hope you people are able to follow.
Yes.
So this is where you are first exploring your data, and then you can actually do your business scenario and create your data as per your data requirement with this data step. Okay. So did you work with this assignment? Have we finished working? No. So go ahead and work on this assignment. Sorry, activity A05 for lesson number 4. So it's activity A05 for lesson number 4. So let us work with servers, activities and folders. Lesson 4 A05. Open this pg1.storm range. So see, they're asking you to first look into your data and examine the columns. Notice that each storm has 4 wind speed measures. So if you check this storm range table, so I have in my PG1 library storm range table. So let's look into its columns. It's telling we have wind column, and those are 4 columns for wind. Wind 1, wind 2, wind 3, wind 4. Okay. So coming to this activity, those are the columns. Notice each storm has 4 wind speed measures. Create a new column named wind average, that is mean of all these 4 columns. Create a new column called wind range, that is the range of all these 4 columns. So let's write wind average. which is going to be mean of course, you know, it's going to be mean. Statistical value is, statistically we term mean, ideally, mathematically we term it as average. So it's going to be mean for all these 4 columns. So of course the arguments are separated by comma. Put them in quotes.
Yes,
Same
Ashwini.
thing. Done?
Yeah.
Great. Same thing if you want to calculate range. I'm going to give this name as new column wind range. And I use a function. So we have this function range. It's ready to use. So yeah. So if you check your output table, you get this average and range for all this. Correct?
Yes.
Yes, I did it too.
Great. So this is how you see. Okay. Now it's
What
not
is-
always feasible. It's not always feasible for us that now in this example we have 4 winds. But what if you have column called, you had 10 winds of columns or 20 wind columns? So is it always feasible for us to keep on writing this columns detail in this way? Correct? So in that case, you can always specify giving the range of your columns by writing this from wind 1 to wind 4. Now remember, if I don't write, or if I simply give this way, wind 1 to wind 4, see what it will do. Pay attention. It's important point. So for wind range, see how it's giving me the values. All right, so coming back here, see what it's giving me? Everywhere it's giving me 0. Why? Because we are performing from wind 1 to mean 4 difference. So because it's a difference, ideally it's giving us 0. So we don't want the difference to be done. So what we tell SAS is, you have to calculate the range ranging from wind 1 to wind 4. So I'm giving the range of columns and I use the keyword off. So what this off will do, it will perform the range on this columns and it will not do the difference, but it will take care that we are specifying the range of your columns. Same thing you can do here also. So instead of using detailed column names, you give this range and you give the keyword off. Just check it out. So off is a keyword where we provide the range of columns, because we provide wind 1 to wind 4. It's a range. It's not a subtraction. It has to be done. Hence we give this off. Got it? So you get the same result. Are you getting it, everyone?
Yes.
So instead of writing the detailed arguments separated by column, now here it was 4 columns. It's all fine. You gave those column names separated by comma. So it's not always feasible, because when you're working on a live scenario, you may have plenty of columns. So in that case, you may have 20 columns, 30 columns, which are giving the measures of wind pressure. So in that case, make use of this keyword off. All right. So that is what the activity solution is telling. This is where you give the discrete values, or you can give the range of values by using of keyword. So same thing. That's a good shortcut for the list of range of columns. Use of. So
Ashwini, this,
yes,
this will also work in case if there is a missing, like
yes, it will
heading of,
ignore missing values. Yes.
okay, if it's
Of
been,
is of is just that it's taking care that we are providing range of values.
okay,
That was we are using a keyword of. So it will not perform the subtraction. But of means it's a range of values ranging from wind 1 to wind 4. So it will take
if,
care from wind 1, wind 2, wind 3, wind 4.
if we just want wind 1, wind 2, and wind 4, suppose like we just don't want two values out of them, or there is two values not there, not say, let's not say not using. If there is wind 1, wind 2, and wind 4 only, even in that case, can we give it this way?
Yes, because in your column, if your data does not have wind 3 itself, you can
Then
give
it,
the range. Yes.
okay, okay.
All right.
Hmm.
All right.
So this
Moving.
off works for mean and range only.
No, you can use for sum, you can use for all other numeric variables also.
Okay.
It's just like you are providing the range of columns, and to ignore, or it's just to tell that it's not difference or anything of that sort. Off means it's you are trying to tell us that it's a range of columns.
Okay, for some I understand, but how for subtraction I didn't get it. Like, so.
Subtraction means, see, though it's a range, but here the argument, if I don't write off, it will perform subtraction.
Mhm.
So we know it's not a subtraction, it's a range. So you use a keyword of. That's it.
Okay.
It will, of course, all this will ignore missing values. All these numeric functions are going to ignore missing values. Because of this sign, if you do not write off, and because of this minus or this hyphen, it treats as minus. Make sense? Yes.
What is the range giving the result? I mean, I didn't understand what is it calculating.
Range means, okay, so you did not understand. Fine. What I'll do
So
is,
what is it calculating? Mean is average.
one sec,
Okay.
one sec, one sec. Wind 1, wind 2, wind 3, wind 4, and wind range. So we have wind 1, wind 2, wind 3, wind 4. So now look at the value. 100, 95, 90, 85. Okay.
5 difference of each.
So we got this average. Fine. What is the difference or range between every value? It's the 15. So see, 100, then you had 95, 90, 85. So the range of values between every column is different, is with 15 range. Now look at this value, 45, 50, 50, 50. So from 45 to 50, the range is of 5 values.
5. Okay.
It's giving 5. Now for this columns, all are 65.
So no,
So
I
is
think
there any range between the values?
0. 5. Yeah.
All right. So wind is 45, wind 1, wind 2 is 45, 35, 30. So this will be same. So it won't have anything. But from 45 to 35, there is a difference.
Yeah.
From 35 to 30, there is a difference. But
15.
yes, so this is what it's giving you, 15.
Okay. Okay. Understood. Yeah.
Fine?
Yeah.
All right. So we got introduced to numeric functions. Now let's get introduced to character functions. So one of them you got introduced was upcase, right? Upcase on your character variable. It changes the letters in a character string to upcase or lowercase. So this is the example of lowercase. This is the upcase. Propcase means it will change the only first letter in upcase. Rest all will be in small case. That is proper case. Fine. So the syntax is a variable name, comma, delimiter. Now, what is this delimiter and all? We'll see that in detail in Prop2. Okay, not here. Then you have catus. Catus is nothing but a function where you are joining the values. So it's telling concatenates. Joining means concatenate, put the values together. So it's called concatenating. So in this case, it will remove if the values has any leading or trailing blanks. And the function sub-str is it will extract the value. So we'll see all this in detail. So let's see this upcase. So see the values for your type. All the values have become upcase. On existing column, you are simply writing for new data to be created. The column should be valued to be upcase. And thus we have a demo. So let's work on this demo D03 for lesson 4. So I'm into servers files into demo folder. It's demo number 3 for lesson number 4. So lesson 4 demo 3. All right. So fine. So they have given this upcase and mean. So that's all fine. Okay. So it's telling add an assignment statement. I'm working to the second part of your demo. You can just pay attention first, then you can work out later. Pay attention. It's telling add an assignment statement to convert basin to all upcase values. So what you'll do now? Are you going to create a new column for basin? Yes or no?
Yes, we have to do the new
No.
column.
Is it a new column? So it's telling add an assignment statement to convert basin values all upcase using upcase function. So
It's
why
just
you have
saying
to
to
create?
convert basin to
That's it. So
basin.
existing column itself, you simply write it should
Basin
be
is equal to
upcase.
upcase basin.
So no need of creating any new column. Just the same name. Of course, assignment statement is there, but the same name column. Just you are upcasing it. Okay. Then it's telling add an assignment statement to convert name in prop case. So first of all, let's understand your input data, which is storm summary. Do we have? Yes, here we have already opened. So do we have a column name? So check the column name. First two values are blank. That's all fine because it's character variable. Missing values represent blank, but the values are upcase. I want in prop case. Prop case means only first letter should be upcase, correct?
Okay.
So in that case, what I do again is an existing column, name equal to, I write prop case. I specify it with my existing column called name.
Name.
Fine. So let's work and just execute this part and set your output data, which is storm new, which will be saved into your work library, how the values represent. See, existing column, it became proper case. Correct? Whereas basin, we do had values in basin, small case, any also. So see, it got all upcase, right? So this has worked out. Existing columns have been changed. Add an assignment statement to create hemisphere, which concatenate hemisphere north south and hemisphere east west using catex. Now let's first thing see your output data for values HME or hemisphere east west and northwest. So where are those columns?
After
This
end date.
is original table we'll see. Okay, now see these values. These values are simply character values with letters S and E. So this should be joined or put together. So if you check your hemisphere north south column, what is its
Characters.
its
Correct.
length is 1. Okay, so when in case what we have to put the function, we have to just jot those values together. So in the code we will be writing hemispheres is equal to cat s is the function where I have the column
Hem
to be
under-
concatenated as hem ew. It got spaced twice. Arguments are separated by comma, and its hemisphere north and south first. Right? Let's check in your output table. So in case if those values were having any leading or trailing blanks, trailing means post these values if you have any values, or if you have missing or blanks, that is trailing, and before this if you have blanks, that is leading. Okay, so see, now it has put together and it has removed any leading and trailing blanks if it had any. Got it? Understood? Yes? Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Great. So add an assignment statement to create ocean which subtracts second letter of basin using sub-str function. So
Which
what is your
extract?
column? Yeah, so it's going to be extract. Now see, what is this basin? They're asking you to extract the second word. So for this, we have a function to be used called as sub-str. So what is its syntax? You give the argument, that is your character variable, comma, the position from where you have to start extracting the letter and how many length values. Okay, so in this case we are going to give the instructions telling SAS that we are going to create a new column called as ocean, which is to be created with sub str, which is subtract, or you can substring. It's called as substring. Okay, it's substring, that from a string you are extracting a string, hence it is a substring. So they asked us to extract the second letter from the word basin.
Ba-
So what's your character variable? Basin, comma, the second argument position, that you want the second position, comma, how many length value? One length value.
Okay.
Correct? So this is was the syntax. I just copy this syntax for R. Okay, so it's a sub-str function, that is substring from your variable, character variable. Starting position, from what position you want to extract. So in our data, we have from second position, you have to extract one length value, which is one length. Hence, now when I execute this, I get A, B, B, I. Why? Second position, one letter. Correct?
Yes.
Got it? So how is it? Like this. Variable name, position, length. Agreed?
Hmm. Yeah.
Yes. That was all about this demonstration. Now, go ahead and work first with this demo as I've showed you, and then we'll work on that activity. So open this demonstration and work on the second part. Go ahead. See,
Okay.
so what is GA? The name is second and third letter.
Okay. So it won't give the one more column after taking out, after subtracting.
One
Output.
second, I will tell it. One second. I'll just use the. So we are extracting from name second letter two length, which is
And that
second
new
and
column
third.
is name. No.
Name one. Okay. And what is, so this is what it is. Original. Original
Yeah,
this
but
one.
like, can't we get one more column? One more column with the names, with the letters of the names after subtracting.
So that's what I have. New name. Name one.
We are not getting that name one way. Can you just open to the output data?
This is name one. This is my original column. This is the new one which I have.
Yeah, name one is having whatever we have taken out. Those letters are coming. So can't we get one more column where it is now one more column? It should have A, T, H, A.
Oh, that. Okay. So this is like on your existing column, you are creating a new column, but you cannot see the values where it is loopholing. You are not doing any changes in the original column. You are just extracting the information from that.
So after extracting, the result column won't be coming.
Oh, it's just going to work on this column to extract from first, second position two letters. We are not doing any changes on this value, on this original column. We are just creating new column by taking out the information. The original column remains the same. We are not disturbing your original column values.
Yes, like can't we create one more column where we can get after extraction the names?
Okay, so you look out if we have any that type of function where it is showing us in that way.
Okay.
All right, it's a good question. You're thinking nice. Let's work it out as a self-study. If you get something instructions that you what happens, how it's showing us, let's work on it. No problem. So it's a study for me also. Good. All right. All right. So this demo. Okay, come to this activity A06. Lesson 4, activity A06. So it's telling add a where statement that uses service-tr function to exclude rows that were second letter of basin, which is specific quotient. So it's not only that you can use the functions. Pay attention, okay, on this activity. Pay attention. You can work out later on. Understand what are they trying to tell you. Pay attention. So they're asking you to save or to create this new data set, which will have the information of the values, which has basin values, which has only P into it. We do not want all other values after subtracting. So you can also, it's not that always you can use service tr to create new variables. You can also use it in this way, telling where using service tr on your basin column where you are extracting second letter separated by or selecting with one length where the value is only P. So that's what they're telling.
I think they're asking to keep P, right?
So what are they telling? Where add a where statement that uses service tr which includes rows where the second letter is P. So that's what we're telling. You have to select only those values where the values after extracting from basin the second letter with one length is P. That's what it's doing, right? We are selecting only with this criteria. We are
Yes.
selecting, correct?
Yeah.
So run the program and view the log and data. How many storms were in your specific basin? So when I execute this run statement, so it's telling 0. Okay, I have something where it's missing here. So
Where SUBSTR?
sorry. Sub str. So it's substring. Now it's having 1958 rows, 6 columns. So see all the basin values where it has second letter ending with P. See? Got it? So when I check my log, so it's telling so many rows were selected from this data, and your where is working on this criteria that on sub-str on basin column, second word with one length is P. So is this true in your output? Yes, for basin, second word is P with one length. Got it? So it's not, they're just with this activity, they're trying to tell you that the functions are not always used to create new columns, but you can also use like this to filter your data. All fine? Priyanka, I hope you are able to follow.
Yes,
Is
yes, I
Shanmuga?
did. Yeah.
Yes,
P
Shanmuga.
case sensitive?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, P is case sensitive. Very, very good question, because it's a character value. It's a character variable basin, and we have in your data, it's written as capital P. Hence, we write this P. Now, in case if I write this as small p,
Mm.
what it will return? Any values? 0 rows.
Because original row, it doesn't have small p only.
Absolutely. So there were 0 rows. It worked with this, but there is no small p in your data.
So it is case sensitive. Okay.
Yes, it is case sensitive. So in case if you are not aware and you write small p, okay, so what you can always do is, you can always make use of a function called upcase on this. So you can write function within a function also. So what will happen here is, it will first work on inner function, that it will sub-str on basin second word with one letter is p, and after extracting it will upcase. So it will work on this, and then it will read this value p with upcase. Okay, so this here it's not working, but it's like this. I'll write. So if not here, let's try here. No, it won't work here because there is no argument, but let's try. Most of the time we write here actually, but it's where maybe it's not able to do it. But we do
It's
have
blue.
these things. Yeah, it's working here.
Yeah.
All
Even
right.
in the code also, it has become blue. So
Yeah, it works here. Where you can write a function within a function. It works here. But now what is happening? We are extracting the information to be subsetted, right? Your logic was not working when I was writing upcase here. The logic is to be worked on your output data on extracting to subset on this. Hence, it's working here. So see, the value is upcased on subtracting. See, it's no more showing small p, it's showing it's upcased.
Shuni, can you show me the code one time?
Yes, yes. Check it.
Okay, we just move the upcase that side. That's it.
Right. So you can work on this activity.
So it is like using where basin like %p.
No, no, that is the pattern which you're giving. It's like you're extracting
Mm-hmm.
from the original table, we are extracting all the rows.
from the column. We are asking to look out for this values by extracting and then subsetting it. So where what is happening, where with what you are telling, what you are telling is, you're good, you are thinking very nice. So you're telling where you are telling basin like this, correct? And you give the pattern, correct? You want everywhere wherever the pattern P is or it's ending with P for your column basin. So here you are just telling that wherever it's following this expression, logically, either you write it this way or this way, it's going to result the same, correct? You can use any which form. So it's not that you cannot use sub-str or you cannot use like. You can use any one, whichever you find is feasible. So here they just wanted to give you an heads that you can extract or you use where, or you can use your certain functions with where also. So, okay, why this is coming, I'll explain you later when we come into macros, but yes, it's working here. So either which way. So
Yeah,
here they just,
we'll
I
understand,
just,
right, when we are doing in the live scenario what to use. It is like, for me, it's like, I don't know when I would be using this and I would be
no,
using.
no, that's what I'm telling you. It's as a data analyst, you can use any logic. It's your logic. Either you use with a function or you use a like. Ultimately, you get the output. That is main thing. So here the aim was just to give you an heads on this, that you can use functions to subset your data also in your where criteria. It's not that always functions can be used to create new columns.
Okay.
Got
I
it?
have a question with this concept where basin like this P, like percentage
Percent
P.
P.
With
So it's,
percent P, it will count any P, whether it is in the second position or third position or fourth position, right?
no, no, it's like before P n number of characters, but it's ending with P.
But it's ending with P. In this case, it works because there are only two words and they're ending with P. If it had been
So
another word with more than two words and P was uh, like we wanted the second character as per sub str basin 2, we needed the second position to be P,
yes, so
right?
your question is very much valid. That's a very good question. Now we know with basin it we have only two values, but in case if we have more than four or two values, what it would be at come. So in this case, what we are telling is that we know what like works. It works to subset your data with this pattern. So this pattern is any values in basin which is ending with P letter
Mm-hmm.
followed with n number of characters. So in
Mm-hmm.
case what you are telling that if P post P we had other characters as well. So in that case, if you want that P also, it won't select that P because that pattern would be like this. That means any value which has P, before P n number of characters, post P n number of characters. So it will
No,
select those values. But in our case, it's telling that any values which ends with P. So your end letter is P. And
no,
before
I
P
think
n number
he
of
has,
that
characters.
concept was very good, like percentage P percentage, but I'm saying the argument which we are using, P has to be the second word, second letter,
It's not
right?
always second, maybe it's the end letter.
No, the logic we have, it says where it uses the rows and the second letter of basin is P.
Now, yes, but this activity is trying to give us that understanding because basin has two letters. We know it. That's for the second. Why second? Because we are going to use it like this in our sub-STR.
Yes. So that's what
So
I'm
it's for
saying.
us. It's for you because you're a beginner. For you to make it understand to extract
Okay.
second letter.
Okay,
Because you are
got
a beginner, you are a learner.
it.
But
Okay.
in case if you were knowing the things, you want any values which ends with P, you can also write in this.
But Ash,
And yes, Priyanka is correct. In
if
one case, Priyanka is absolutely correct. Now here they are specifying second word. That's why you're using this. But what if we do not know P is coming at second word or first word or it's coming third word? So in that case, this would be giving us a separate result and this would give us a specific result. She's absolutely correct. Good question. But it depends on your data value, how you can use this logic. So will your logic work good with this or with this? So if this, so go ahead with this, or if this, go ahead with this. It's all try and error, try and find out, try and find out. All right. So it's all how you are going to write your program. You know the things. Now you need to look into how you can work out. So same thing, like you know how to cook a specific dish. Either you cook it directly or you use a pressure cooker. That in one go, it gets cooked. Or you want to put all the ingredient one at a time and check it out and then again put it, steam it. or put it into pressure cooker. So it's again in your this. You know the things how to do it. But it depends what ultimately is required. So in our case here, now we know for basin, we were having only two values. Yes, as Priyanka was very correct. So here we can use this. Any which one. All right. Okay, moving next to this activity. So this is what it was telling. See, the same thing, 109, 1958 rows. So we have date functions as well. Do you need a break, or we can continue with date functions?
Please continue.
Okay, great.
Let
Now
others
we work.
tell their suggestion.
Yeah, others.
I will just drink water and come.
Sure, sure. We'll take a break of some 5 minutes. Let's resume. Others, I hope you all are there. Anyone
Yes.
away from the
Yes.
screen? Great. So now we know in our data we had three types of values, correct? One is numeric, character, and of course date values. Now in SAS we know dates are always saved in the form of number of days, correct? If we apply a format, we could see those dates in that particular format. So in our case, we have one data in one of our library. So if you check this PG1 data for both dates, correct. Now in this data set, we know we have the information of some students or maybe some patients, whatever this data would be. But ultimately, look at this date. Can you interpret this birth date?
No, it is the number of days.
Absolutely. It's in the form of SAS dates. That is in the form of number of days. But I want to know that what is the month this particular person was born, or which year this person was born. I don't want the detailed date because I know if I apply a format, I will see the date that it could be suppose 1st Jan 1970 or it could be 28th October 1980, whatever. Okay. I know that format will apply and I'll get the exact day, month, and year. But I just want to extract or know the information that what is the year the person is getting or he was born. So in this case, what we can do is I write data for class date set from my pg1 dot class birth date data set. I write both year as the new variable. Okay. Which is I use a function called year to be extracting only the year value from my existing column called as birth date. And with this function, it will extract only the 4 digits of year from this birth date, though this is in the form of number of days. So what will do, it will extract year from calculating your birth date 1st Jan 1960 till whatever the specific date is, and it will extract only the year from that data. So now when I execute this, I'll be able to see this year. Now again, this year value which will be there, it's showing me the years and what year it's been extracting in the form of 4-digit year values. Got it now? Yes, everyone.
Yes.
Okay, so this is one thing. One, you also have a function called month. So if I want to extract what month the birth was, I can use a function called month to extract the 2 digits of the month of my date, of my birth date, or whatever the date is. So if I check this, I get the month, which is 10th month. So in case if you apply format on this and check these values, I write format date. Suppose I write DD MMYY 10 dot. It will appear the date into 2 digits of day, 2 digits of month, and 4 digits of your total weight is 10, including your slashes. So I'm writing, remember this date is into format is in my data step. So it will apply a permanent format on my date column. You see, is I'm getting the year and the month. See, am I getting the same thing? Where I'm extracting the year and the month. Are you all with me?
Yes, Ashwini.
Yes.
So this is what it is.
Yes.
So we have SAS date functions which extract month, day, year. So these are also some function. Now this is today. Today with the null parenthesis is a function which will extract the SAS system date. Okay. This is one of the year-wide difference function which calculates the difference in the years of between two dates. Okay. We'll see that also in detail. We have this demo. And this MDY function means it will extract month, day, and year from your date. Fine. So what this today does, I'll show you that also. Data date for today. I write column today to be created. I use a function today with a null parenthesis. I end my step. So I'm creating this data set, which will have only one column today. And this today is going to extract the system date for me, which is in the form of number of days. Now, if I apply, I simply create another data date, which is which will take the value from today variable. I apply a format for this column. Your original column will be in the form of number of days, and I write date time dot. So now this data set will have two columns. So this is where it is extracting my system date in the form of number of days. And this column is the same value, but it is applying my format. And my system format is 18 Feb 2022. Getting it? So for me it's 18, maybe for you it will be 17. Okay. See, because this I am extracting system date. Okay, it's system date. This variable I'm creating where it will take the value for today, because I have written the value is coming from existing column today. Fine, and I'm applying format on this today format this. So you can try this. Try this second statement.
Ashwini, you didn't
Yes.
give the set statement, right? Then where will the data read?
See, I'm not at all creating a data set by reading from existing table. I'm creating data set simply using this two assignment statement. Hence, a data set will be created with only two columns.
Okay.
Okay. So that is why the data step is always said that it's a very powerful tool. So see, this is one example for you. That without giving instructions of an input data source, one is also creating a new data, just giving column informations to be created. Done?
Ashwini. No.
No? Okay. Try only this part, second part. Don't work on this. This I'll show you later on one more thing, which is your difference. Try this.
Done, Ashwini.
All right, great. Others?
Yes, done.
Shanmuga, Priyanka.
Yeah, fine.
Shanmuga, are you there?
Yes, I'm telling done.
You know what happens? Because your voice and Nilima's voice resemble so much that I get
Oh,
confused. Is it
oh,
Nilima
that's
speaking or it's Shanmuga speaking?
okay.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Now this was one example with today which we had seen. We'll see an example of this function called year difference. So it calculates a precise difference in years between two dates. Okay. So start date, end date, and age. So let's see. I'm going to maybe I'll create a column called as suppose age, which is equal to I use year difference YDF as my function. Okay. YRDF. Fine. I use that. I don't know what is the age. So how you'll calculate the age? So whatever is the today's date minus your birth date. Correct? So how I'll get today's date? I can write a function today. Correct? Comma. I already have a variable in my data which gives the birth date, and I ask SAS the argument that it should give the age for this. So let's check. Now again it will apply, or it will show you the number of years difference, age difference. So see, it's giving like this. So we know it's giving into negative value. Correct? Are you getting it? So why don't we simply write something like this? Now we get a perfect age, but the age we get, because it's numeric, it's going to give us the difference, and it's into decimal places. What if you want to avoid this decimal places? I just give you one more input that we have another function of numeric where you can round up the value. I simply write a round function to be performed on this whole argument. So it's again, see, this is function within a function, and once it extracts the age of this, it will round up the value. Now I execute it. So I'll get the rounded age of this value because age cannot be in decimal values. So I get the age in the round value. All right. Understood how the year difference works? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, very complicated.
No, it's simple actually. Very simple. See, you first give your year difference function where you have your birthday, your today, and you want it to extract age. So it will give the years of difference between this date and it will show you the argument on age. Okay. So this will work. You know, it gives you the difference of years, which is the age, but it gives us the decimal values because it's numeric. You want the value to be round up, hence simply add another function, and the function is always written in parenthesis. So this is one parenthesis and this is second parenthesis for your round, and within this you write this. That's it. You can try this if you want. Done?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
Ashwini,
Yes.
from the original table, the age was, I mean, the age is differing with the current one.
Original table, do we have age?
Yeah,
Of course. So this would be in that year now, whatever the year 2000 the data was created. We are currently working with the current year, which is 2022. Maybe this data for that was maybe calculated or taken in 2018.
okay. Yeah.
That's why it's giving the current age as 17,
Okay.
16, 3 years gap,
Yeah, 3 years gap.
or 3 or 4 years, whatever.
I think the table must have been created in 2000.
18 or something. That's what I'm telling.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, I'm done.
And good. You can always save this code for your further practice or reference for practice whenever you'll be working. Others, Swarupa, Priyanka, Shanmuga.
Done, Ashwini.
Great. So this was Shanmuga, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Priyanka?
Yeah, done, I said.
Okay. Swarupa?
My age column is not coming. I don't know. I did the same thing, but
So what you can do is, you get any warning, any error message? Did you get any warning error message?
no, I didn't get any.
Try this. I've given in chat box the assignment statement.
Sorry, what did you say?
I have given in the chat box the assignment statement. You can just copy and comment your assignment statement of age and use this which I've just given you. Comment your assignment statement of age.
Yeah, just a minute.
And use the assignment statement which I have forwarded on your chat box, on the Zoom chat box.
Yeah, give me a minute.
Ashwini, as
Yes,
understanding, the reason we have the parenthesis.
your voice is not clear, Priyanka.
Can you hear now? In the year difference, today with parenthesis is just the way that function is written, right? Okay.
It's developed that way. Today with null parenthesis, it will extract your system date.
There's too many
So in
values.
case if you want to check, now we saw now what today looks, it gives you the date, which is your system date, right? So that's what we had seen. One with extracting, and we had created another column here, which is taking this value of today, which is extracting your system date, and we formatted this. So it's actually extracting your system date.
Actually, I put it in the chat box.
So this is what you had written. So I said, did you try one which I had given?
I will try just a minute.
Have you written age in small case in your assignment statement or in upcase?
Oh yeah, there is, yeah. That might be the reason. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
I wrote the age in the small, like in the
Small
smaller
case, it's
letter
working for
caption.
you. Okay,
It is
okay, fine.
working.
It works. There's no issues in it. So I don't know what might have happened with Swarupa's case. But fine, Swarupa, you just try what I have given. Then we can debug your screen later on.
No, it's not working.
It's not working. Okay, just share your screen with me. Okay.
Can you see?
Yes, yes. Can you please maximize this, please?
Yeah, just a minute.
Yeah. Okay. So why it's not working for you? Execute it. See where you are writing your assignment statement. Is it before run, after run?
Oh yeah.
It was getting error also in your log. So just uncomment your age in your before run statement. Uncomment that age.
This one?
No, just a second. Give me the control of your screen. I requested it. Alright. Now don't move your cursor. I've
Okay.
taken the control of your screen. Okay. I was talking about this. Uncomment this, which is written before run, and you had worked, which was this one. Correct?
Yeah.
Don't write there now currently. Just hold on. So before working on the correction, see you had an error.
Oh
In
yeah.
your,
Yeah.
so when you check your log, see it was telling after running your data step post run you had assignment. So it's not understanding because it's written after data step. So independent assignment statement, it's an error. SAS will not understand. It has to be a part of your data step, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, you do had an error. But now let's work out only by running this step. Why you are not getting each column? You're getting here, see?
Oh, I thought it will come after
You
birth.
was looking at the end,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah. Sorry.
No problem. It's coming here. It's
Yeah.
aligning here. That's it. You are
Okay.
getting it. Okay.
Thank
So
you.
one thing, one sec. Now your screen is already shared. So this works with small case age also. Just try it out. So it's coming. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Yes. You can stop sharing, please. All right. So let me check. After this, you have a demo. And a practice. So demo and practice I leave to you as a self-study. Okay. I'll do one thing. I have written a code which is explaining about month, day, and year. That is MDY function. So this is the code. See, I'm creating a new column called new birth date, which is MDY, and I'm using this columns. Now this columns I've already created by extracting the month, by extracting the day, and by extracting the year. So it's MDY. So when I execute this and check my output, my new birth date is giving me the same birth date as date, month, day, and year. So it's extracting month, day, and year, which I already have this extracted as month, day, and year. So what I do is I just give you this and your chat box, and you can practice when you have time to revise what we have done. Okay, so you can just copy this code which I've given in the chat box and save it in your program. So highlight that it's explaining about month, day, and year function, which extracts the month, day, and year from your columns. Now this is the syntax as the syntax here, month, day, and year. Okay, so this month, the day, and year I have already extracted as columns. Why? Because see here I have created a column. I hope you are following me. And I'm using the same thing here. All right.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So post this, you have the demo D04. You can work it as your self-study and practices. Okay. Later on, we'll see conditional processing. Fine. So this will be our next topic for our Sunday. Fine. So with this, we'll stop our day. And thanks for attending your session.